Would you host it?
I would co-host it with you. Let's put our hat in the ring. We work cheap. You can tell by the set.
I think you don't get paid much, do you?
No, you don't get paid to host Saturday Night Live. You actually have to write Lauren a check. That'll be $1,300.
I take Bitcoin.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer Lopez. Do you have to say my name? I'm going to start with a joke just for fun.
Okay, let's do it.
This kills really hard, and it's a little politically incorrect in my act.
Perfect.
This is Barack Obama giving a little talk to fourth graders. Teach them lessons. He uses nursery rhymes. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack looked at Jill, and Jill looked at Jack. And Jill said, "I'd like to be a Jack, too." So Jack and Jack came down the hill. It's a teachable moment. Michelle. There we go. It's a pretty good joke. It's a little edgy. These two progressives loved it.
It's too progressive. Oh, yeah, we have everyone represented.
We're not Republicans or Democrats. We're regressives. That's our new name.
We're regressives.
Yeah, we can't understand the news. We don't know what's going on. This is David reading like Wall Street Journal online. What is it? What's going on? I don't understand. Too many big words.
Put it in
That's
braille.
my best impression.
Yeah, I know. I was like, is that me?
I guess.
The idea was right. That is what I do. I'm not
treat
a genius. But tell him about the new studio.
A secret genius, he says. Well, we should say that we're in a different location.
Yeah.
And normally we're spread around North America. Sometimes I'm in Winnipeg. You never know. But today we're at a literal bunker somewhere.
Undisclosed.
In Southern California.
Yeah.
And spent a couple shekels, deeped into the coin purse. And,
the company that does the podcast is technically bankrupt. They're in chapter 11,000.
They're bankrupt, but they're generous. And they passed the hat around the office. And so we got these for $39 at the dollar store.
So let me see. So Dana, we're in the studio.
Where's our camera?
I don't even know.
There's
I'm looking.
17.
I think this one's mine.
What one should we look at? If it's just me and David talking to our audience. That one in the middle? Below the frame? All right.
Is that the wide shot? And that's me.
Folks, come on.
I like this one better.
Come on. We could look over here. Look over there. This is the cameras.
All right. Before I get into I'll tell you about my breakfast first.
All right, here we are. We're starting. Take 5. Hey, David, how was your breakfast over the weekend?
That's a great question. I got ambushed at breakfast, and this happens sometimes to everybody. I sit in the back of the restaurant facing the wall, and I'm reading the paper and physically eating. So a guy comes around, he goes, "Hey, I don't want to bug you. Fine, bugging me." But that's what everyone starts with. They don't really mean to, but that's just.
I hate to bother you.
It kills me. Nothing I hate worse than bothering you. I go, it seems like it's going easily for you so far.
The thing I hate most is bothering you. Yeah. Well, it seems like you're doing something you hate.
And I know you're eating, and I'm literally eating like fork up, not like I'm sitting. I'm literally eating, and I go, and he goes, "If I could give you a pitch is there any way I can pitch you a movie for 30 seconds? It's about a guy." Now, it was sort of rhetorical. It kind of ran over my yes or no.
Yeah, he's ahead of you.
You know what I mean? He goes, yeah, he's all amped
He's
up.
one step ahead of you.
So I sit there with my fork, and then this is how he starts it. Listen, by the way, I'm a good guy. I'm also a Leo. I happen to know you're a Leo. We're both Leos, so we're on pretty solid ground right now.
And you still have your fork up here with food
and I'm
on
like
it.
this going, it's getting weaker.
You're frozen. You got your
because I have weak traps and clavicles, and I'm like this.
Yeah, so you're literally in pain going like this, listening to this.
Egg heavy, has chopped pepper on it, heavier.
Egg heavy, cannot listen to idiot anymore.
Can't figure out how long this will be going. It won't be 30 seconds for sure. So
go ahead.
So then he goes, so we're both Leos. I know that because I know.
Mm-hmm.
They're
the lions.
I'm a great guy. And then he starts now as he's blistering, he's like blah blah blah, pontificating to this stupid fucking bloviating is the word I'm looking for. All I can think of is this is how you start your foundation on a professional career with someone in acting.
Yeah.
Not I'm a great producer. Not I've done this in this movie. Not I'm a great writer. It's we're both Leos. That's your foundation. And by the way, all I could think of was I'm not a Leo. And so I go, we're already fucked. Everything else doesn't matter now. I'm not, and I'm a Cancer, and I'm getting crabby because
And you're
I
getting
go,
cancer.
what are we doing now? This was your main credit, is that you're a Leo. No other credits were mentioned. And then at the end, I'm thinking, what if we're on a set? Do I want a good scriptwriter, or do I want a guy shutting down the set because Jupiter's in purple haze? Astrology. Do I want an astrologist on the set, or do I want someone that's good at their job?
What happens? You beat them up?
Well, the thing is, this data that ever since SNL days, you can't read an idea for a script. You can't hear an idea for a movie, because if you ever down the line do something like that, you could be sued, because they go, oh, that was mine.
Yeah, you take it 6 years later. I had a rabbit in my script, and then you're handcuffed and taken away.
Right. We're getting
over
a fix on Dana. What's going on?
Don't go too tight.
Yeah, let's pull back. How about Cleveland?
Evan, the tight shot guy. He likes to crank down on guys who remember Kennedy versus Nixon. All right,
this thing's gonna look like the Zapruder film. It's so blurry.
But the low social IQ of that guy, because I was once in the early days. I saw Bob Dylan on the streets of Manhattan. And I'm thinking I should go over there and talk to Bob Dylan.
That's
and then I thought,
don't.
He's just Bob Dylan. He doesn't look like he wants to be bothered. So I just went up there. Excuse me, Mr. Dylan. I'm your biggest fan. He goes, how are you? I don't think you're really my biggest fan. I go, why do you sound like Norm Macdonald? And that was the weirdest thing. Years later, I met Norm. He's like talking like that. I go, you sound like Bob Dylan. Anyway. I guess we can cut that.
No, no, I like that one.
No, I can't. I actually did run into Springsteen at one point, jogging in the park. Like, boom! Watch out where you're going. I got my good cowboy boots on. I'm going to run around the reservoir.
He's running in his cowboy boots?
Yeah, get him. Because I'm Bruce Springsteen. I grew up in New Jersey, but I know a cow when I see one. Can you do anything about that underbite? Why would I? It's my signature. Does your jaw hurt? All the fucking time.
Wearing a bite plate 24/7. Not doing shit.
Why are we shitting on him?
I know, I like Springsteen.
Let's get to these Oscars.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Let's get to these self-congratulatory dandies.
Who cares about the next movie I'm shooting with Leo guy?
Wait a minute. You're shooting a movie with Theo Von?
No, the guy at the fucking Leo that said he's a Leo.
Oh, the Leo, the Theo, the wheel. I can't keep track of the stories.
Leo Von. So the Oscars were last night. Highlights for me.
Oscars were not last night.
Oscars were the other night.
Oscars were 6 months ago, but we needed to contemplate.
Yeah,
we need to contemplate.
So I liked Ryan Gosling, Ken's song. I thought he was funny.
Yes,
I thought that was good.
Go ahead.
Spielberg getting laughs with cutaways. And that was funny, right?
Yeah, that was good. Yep,
that's it.
There's a meme out now that apparently Putin watched some of the Oscars and he went nuts for I Am Ken. And
no, he did.
He's literally kind of giggling it's an Instagram or something. I really was laughing at Ryan Gosling. He keeps singing I Am Ken. What does it mean? We know his name is Ken. It's so funny. It went on for a long time. But it was pretty funny. This message was brought to you by Vladimir Putin. I love Fly on the Wall.
Blue ending. He brought Barbie into it when he went into the crowd.
Barbie. They always say who wore it best. The women come out and God bless them all. I don't judge. Look at me. Who wore it best? Last night it should have said, who wore it least? These are the skimpiest outfits I've ever seen. Bra, they put on bra, panty, sheer thing over, and walk around. I mean, what's going on, women in the audience? Hey, Peanut Gallery. Chris?
We've run out of ideas on what to wear.
Did you think it was especially sort of less clothes on the red carpet or no?
Well, it's a trending thing right now where you wear see-through like lace number with underwear underneath it.
Yeah. And so why do you think it is trending?
I like the trends.
That I don't know. Maybe
it's young people
and not
with
wearing
perfect
bras.
bodies.
That's another thing too. Have you noticed? Yeah.
I walked up behind one of those young ladies, Anita, and she had a 100% see-through with basically just
A thong.
underpants. And I didn't know that was her. I didn't know who she was. But the front was fully see-through, so I didn't even look. But I saw a picture today, and I thought, But, I went out after, and I went by a party, and I saw, I would say the women all look gorgeous. I noticed that. And I wouldn't say there's plastic surgery. I would say that with makeup and slick back hair and things, there was a lot I didn't know who they were at first glance. Someone said that's blah, blah. And I go, oh, I even saw Kim K when I was going to get my drink, and I said hi. And then I said, oh, okay, that's her. Because I couldn't right off the bat tell everybody who they were. Not that I'm saying again, not that they're like plastics. It's just, they look different. They make their makeup different, and it takes you a second. Everyone looked great, though.
Everyone looked great. I think having Al Pacino, you have an 83-year-old man who's going to announce the last award, and there's an open bar. It's a shark go in the water, cage go in the water. No, I love Al Pacino. He just should have done the whole thing. If he had just picked up the envelope and screamed, "Say hello to my little friend," he would have brought down the house.
Oh, my God. Why doesn't he do that?
If I was there, I would have said, Al, just say hello to my little friend. Did you know that he's dating a very young woman? I guess they had a baby. And courtship was him showing her his movie. So he showed her Scarface, and that's when she fell in love with him. Yeah.
Shit, I would too. That's a good, I would save that. Yeah, I wouldn't open with that one. Oh, he's got Godfather too.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. You can follow it.
What else did I like?
What about when Al Pacino comes on and he goes, "And now's the time, Oppenheimer." Everyone goes, what's going on? he jumped the gun a hair. Did you see that?
I know. He says, I'm seeing Oppenheimer. Like it was a crystal ball. I'm seeing Oppenheimer. So we were like, is it a joke? What's going on? Paul McCartney did a little Instagram congratulating Oppenheimer.
What did it go like? What was it like?
What do you mean? What are you expecting?
If you had to imagine.
Oppenheimer, it's a great film. It's about a big bomb, And they're up in the desert. They're like, how do we make it? Maybe put it here, put that. We don't know. Pretty soon, they thought, it could be a big one. It could be a big one. So they put it on a big wooden thing. And they're like 10 feet away. They said, we better get back. Could be even bigger. And then they went dunga dunga. And this big old mushroom cloud. But it's not full of mushrooms like the time your mom used to make you. It's an atomic bomb. If I'm bombing in this room, I'm bombing out there.
That was all on one Instagram meme?
It was one Instagram. Well, Putin and he were, they were FaceTiming during the Oscars. But anyway.
Well, I will say that I didn't catch 1,000%.
Why is Evan on my shot for 20 minutes?
Because he's baffled.
What are you trying to do? Take me back to 60? Where should I look at?
He put you back. He's like 55.
What
50,
you want me here? You
40.
Want me there? Okay. All right. Well, on a serious note, what did you like about the Oscars?
Well, I didn't know all of it. I didn't see all of it.
This is our Oscar edition.
I did run into Justin. I saw Jason Bateman, but J.J. Abrams says say hi to you, and
we're very good friends.
Yes, he was very.
I have celebrity friends.
Very nice. Without it sounds like name dropping, but honestly, you go to those parties and there's literally almost no plus ones. So when you go in, every person you turn to, you would know from something. So it's just a matter of, I only stayed an hour at one and an hour at the other because it was too much overload. It's like, deesh. So some of the fun ones, I'm trying to think of what would be fun to tell. There's not that many exciting things that happen other than, you have to walk in as a solo. This is really the point. When you don't have plus one, you have to latch.
Are you talking about Vanity Fair?
Vanity Fair is the first one.
Oh, the big one. Yep.
And then there was an after party at Guy Who's Serious. So an after party for me, God, that fucking time change helped me because you got a free hour. It was a little earlier than it was in a real.
That's funny. Yeah. Do you write that down on a notepad? Good time to go to parties.
Oh my God, it just fell into place. It's like New Year's Eve. When am I going to stay up till that late? So the first one, I stayed in only an hour, but I ran into Jason Bateman as the first person I saw. Now that's just a crapshoot. Who are you going to see right when you walk in? And then there was a little gaggle of dudes that came and just talked. And then I saw, they said Sharon Stone was there. I went looking for her because she just did Fly on the Wall.
No.
And
Yeah.
that's coming up.
SNS?
When is Sharon Stone on?
SNS is on Mm-hmm.
It'll be already on? Oh, it's week after. Okay,
Mm.
she's coming up, and I wanted to say hi to her. But mostly, I saw some of these skimpy outfits, like they were saying,
Mm-hmm.
and people would explain who that person was. And goddamn, anybody? Oh, I saw Robert Kraft, and I asked him about the big trade with Mac Jones. Right, that's a sports story.
Yeah.
He runs the Patriots, so that was sort of
Mm-hmm.
off the beaten path
Off the
of
beaten
normal
path
people you
of
see.
all.
Oh, the second party. Well, you know what's funny is being at a party where everyone's pretty well known, and you walk by Travis and Taylor, and how it's really
There's an aura, like there's a
well,
literal sound.
it's the only place where people weren't flipping the fuck out.
Did that happen?
That did happen. They were at Guy of Serious. Look at here's me and Taylor Swift when
This is last
did I tell you
night?
this? No, this is weeks ago. No,
You look different.
One
but
time-
you look great.
I went to this
Mhm.
Grammy party, and they seat you wherever, and then
Mhm.
and then she was sat next to me, and then she was more newer on the scene, and she had done Ellen, and Ellen said, "Go take
Are the
pictures with
sunglasses
people."
throwing you off? Because I have like glasses. Okay.
He's quitting camera work. He's just quitting, and he's packing up.
The camera is rebelling against
you're
my
fucking-
face. The
you're-
camera is just shutting itself off. Will not.
The
It's an
camera
AI
said,
camera.
"I'm out. Fuck,
I
it's
will
too
not.
much work."
Too old. Too much stuff to think about. I am cutting myself
He
off.
literally took off your whole close up and started over.
Yeah, he's starting over with a special lens smeared in mayonnaise.
We're gonna shoot it through a shower curtain.
Do you know that I was invited to the Vanity Fair party?
Oh, there's another one.
Oh, there they are.
First ever to do duck lips. I'm saying it.
I used to always do duck lips
Always.
in SNL old days. I did
Even
it because I
before
was
this picture.
awkward, didn't know what to say.
We
This
used
is
to call
just
Your
Duck
hand
Lip
on her
Davy.
back?
I didn't mean to. I was just trying to take
Ding,
the picture. But she was going around taking pictures, and I would say like, "Oh, that's like Dave Grohl. Go take a picture with her," because she was newer, and she was
Mhm.
very nice. And that was like there was a
Mhm.
whole table there, but you can only see us. But I was
Mhm.
remembered. Oh yeah, I did meet Taylor Swift in the old days.
At that point, I remember you told me you met her, and she only knew one chord in the guitar. That's how young she was, but she got really good. That was a joke. You know what? I was invited to the Vanity Fair party 20 years in a row with the white envelope, everything, and I never answered, and I never went. And then I was down here once. I go, well, maybe I'll go this year.
Right.
No invite.
Oh, the one
Just,
time.
I swear to God, 20 years in a row.
Would you have gone when the Oscars were last week?
When I went to the Oscars
Oh, yeah,
with
when
Mike
you went with
Myers,
Mike, yeah.
invited me. We did Wayne's World.
Yeah.
We're there with all the really cool people, Mike stuff. You go, you going to the Vanity Fair party? And my wife and I had to go, we don't have a invite. And they go, you don't? No. And so I was going to go there and go, I don't really have an invite. And have some guy like, sorry, you got to move along.
No,
know,
you should go. I mean, I think you could have gone last night, but they also
as a plus one.
people say like, "Oh, no, you could have gotten it if you would have just asked." They say, "Oh, I remember someone complaining I was in this movie, and I didn't even get invited to the Oscars, and the movie was nominated." But I have to say, it's so tight in that room. They have to have really just the stars, and the producers and the director. Right? There's too many people and too many movies. Now the parties would probably be a safer bet to get into. You know, it just turned into a blast. I mean, last night was fun. I didn't talk to Kelsey, even though we did have Jason on. I could not walk up to them, even though they're just hanging out, because it felt too thirsty.
You could have. The only way you could have is that you just interviewed Jason.
Yeah.
And she could have go, he had some kind of weird things to say about you. We trimmed him. Just want to let you know he's got a couple
Yeah,
younger
what's up
brother
with you
issues.
guys? Why do you hate each other? And maybe I'm speaking. I mean,
You know, my nightmare is your dream. Like for me to go and have 3,000 small talk conversations, if it's an intimate party with like 6 people, but when it's just, what's up? How you doing? Working? Good.
were you there? That's what I said.
Yeah. David Spade,
Hey,
you still
how are
doing
you?
that podcast with the church lady guy?
Hey,
Yeah.
good job. No,
you guys
we
are
tried
kind
it.
of funny.
Most of it's that, but if you find someone you know, then it's funnier. The
Yeah.
second party, I was in the kitchen eating, shockingly, with 4 people. So that was just fun. Us 4
yeah.
laughing, and
That's perfect.
And you know, the thing about like these two, like Travis and whoever, anybody there is always hard to walk up to people that are already talking, because people do it to me. you're in something and people just grab you, and I feel it's rude. So unless someone's just floating by, it's hard to walk up and interrupt. Unless it's someone I really, really know well. You know what I mean?
Well, yes, of course. I would. Your social IQs, you got it.
Through the roof.
You can feel the radar. You can feel the radar. You're a stand-up. You can feel when the crowd is turning on you, which, no offense, but happens on a regular basis. And you know how to. That was a joke.
I know. I looked right at the camera.
He kills. I just feel like if I went there, I would fake I was in a lot of movies. Oh, yeah, I was in Oppenheimer right before. I was the guy with the binoculars. Anatomy of Fall, you got it. I was the carpenter near the dumpster. So you just say your movies, and no one can really know. Barbie, I was driver number 3 in the yellow car. You know, you saw me right behind Margot Robbie, right when she was going into the bank.
You can just say I was like Barbie's first one night stand. My whole thing got cut, but I shot for 7 weeks. Didn't test well.
My sister had a Barbie doll, and that got passed around by
Jimmy says
by the brothers.
Jimmy said, "Oh, Barbie, no one wants a Barbie doll anymore." Remember he said it in his monologue? I was like,
Jimmy was.
He had a couple cutting jokes.
He was kind of edging out.
Yeah,
there.
I like some of that.
I think hopefully he's got at least 150 tucked, and maybe he's 2 years out the door. He always says he's
doing just fine.
Because I get it. Yeah, I always follow the money. Ryan Gosling was so relaxed. He has $300 million net, and he's a movie star for 20 years.
Yeah, I'd be laying down.
It felt like it was nothing to him, you know.
Would you host it?
I would co-host it with you. Let's put our hat in the ring. We work cheap. You can tell by the set.
I think you don't get paid much to do it anyway.
No, you don't get paid to host Saturday Night Live. You actually have to write Lorne a check. That'll be $1,300.
I take Bitcoin.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer Lopez. Do you have to say my name? Where are you putting the check?
Okay, let's move on to...
And that is our Oscar chunk.
Well, I want to thank people on YouTube. I read all the comments and very positive about Superfly so far. And if they're negative, easily blocked. But so far, it's been very positive.
Yeah, I've never read a comment about anything. I get information from you because I'm too sensitive. And if I saw a negative comment, I would crawl up in a ball and start sobbing. So I
do
comments.
Get angry about it, and people say it doesn't affect you, but it does. And so, I did want to talk. We're going to do some headlines, but without being political, that State of the Union was last week, right? Okay.
No, I'm saying we're not going to be political. Yes, State of the Union. Yes,
I did think it was funny that Joe Biden, the president, is that his name?
Joe Biden,
he just came out of that cannon. I mean, he popped out of the toaster. He was. I just want whatever he was having because I get tired in the afternoon and jack me up, jacked and juiced and ready to go. I thought he'd be running around that chamber going, parkour, parkour, just like bouncing off the wall.
Well, you know what? I don't know what they gave him or whether it was just a lot of rest and some protein.
Maybe just some.
But maybe backstage
OJ.
there was an assistant going, Mr. President, this is for you. Oh, what is it? We call it a State of the Union. Oh, sure. Take a State of the Union before I do the State of the Union. Oh, sir.
They put it in a biscuit like a dog.
And then 3 minutes later, and I'll get in my
fuck. Because normally.
Fuck you all cut. They actually cut the State of the Union because he's like the old man on the lawn.
He's still there.
Fuck
screaming.
You.
Yeah.
They cut it, and then I guess what's her name? Mary Taylor Greene. What's the girl? The one who was
Marjorie?
in the Indy 500 with the red.
Yeah, she looked like NASCAR.
She was my favorite. It's a freak show. The Republic's ending soon. So anyway, save your money. Or Bitcoin, I guess.
At the beginning, on his regular speeches, they usually have a guy walk out and go, let's get ready to mumble. And then he comes out. But on this one, he's like, he was all jacked up. He's like, and I'm also hornier than a 3-peckered billy goat. My dick's harder than Chinese arithmetic. And everyone's like, okay, well, let's just stick to the cards. And he goes, I just got to say, I haven't felt like this in a while. And I'm give me some. No, bust it out, break flip.
Can I get another State of the Union? Here you go.
He's microdosing.
Was it? What do you think?
He's microdosing.
What do we really think it was? I heard Ritalin is a alleged possibility.
I don't know if it's Ritalin. Please send your letters elsewhere. But Ritalin would give someone a little pop. A little pop. Really have a little Ritalin with a silverback monkey up with a twist. and a little daiquiri no. But the problem was the next day he was yelling, and it was very awkward.
Oh, still going?
Yeah, he was at he was at a Baskin Robbins ice cream store. I have a choco and fudge. Excuse me, sir, you don't have to yell. The State of the Union hasn't worn off.
And he's shadowboxing.
He spits it
Come
out.
on, Jake Paul, I'm next.
I'll beat the hell out of you. Come on, Jack. I'll beat you and your whole family. I'll beat the shit. I don't know. Look, it's a freak show. Let's just say it. We have an election coming up.
He breaks a stir stick. You like that shit? It's more where that came from. Hustle.
I'll cut a bitch. And that was to Jill. Jill's like, slow
takes
down.
the broken little wooden stick, and he said he'll cut a bitch with that, the stirrer.
Yeah. I'll cut a bitch.
Huh? You like that shit?
Let's get him backstage. Get him backstage. Did I do this before? Because it made me happy when I found out, saw Nicolas Cage at the Oscars, that they lease Nicolas Cage. They pay him to come backstage when Biden gives a speech, and he sort of like calms down. He's like an anxiety person. Because when Biden's out there and the people are backstage, they go, he's going off script. He's going off the prompter. He's going off the prompter. And then Nicolas Cage knows at that moment to calm the staff down and goes, why, God, why? And that has lowered the anxiety of the staff.
It feels like it's working. Someone said, did you hear this? I like he looks over there.
What?
Talk about, well, it was back on the Oscars, but weren't you stuck between Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga? You told me there was a little like hand stuff going back and forth with them.
Oh, yeah.
What
Well,
happened?
I had a view when they were doing the In the Sky, la, 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 when they're singing this song. Shallows. In the shallows, la, la, la. Because of exactly where I was sitting, I could see right under the piano. And there was just a little some loose hands under there. In the shallow, in the shallow.
Or is this a few Oscars ago?
This is pre-pandemic, 2018. If you must know, it was during the movie.
Shallow.
No, the movie they made.
Star is
Yes,
Born.
A Star. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no. What was the movie he just did? Bradley Cooper. He didn't
Maestro.
He didn't win shit. I didn't say it because I say it wrong.
I thought he was amazing in Maestro, but what are you going to do? Paul Giamatti was extraordinary. He's a friend of the podcast. We interviewed him.
Okay, here's what I heard, and this was on something that Giamatti, who we had on here, wore. You would know this. The holdovers wore contacts to give him a lazy eye, and then Nicolas Cage goes, "I would have done that."
Yes.
Is that something real?
Yes. Yeah, you can wear a contact that just looks like a lazy eye. Just put your eyeball down here. It's like like wearing a.
Wow, I don't know if I could do that. That would weird me out too much.
Look, it's for their art.
I go, that would weird me out. Meanwhile, I'll be getting full plastic surgery in a week. That doesn't scare me.
I had a little eye tuck over the weekend, hence the shades. I had a little eye tuck, so I just wear these for a couple days.
You know what I like is when you go up to people at the Vanity Fair party and they go, and the first compliment is, "Do you sleep on your face?" And I go, "Why?" They go, "You look like a pound puppy." I go, "What's that?" And they go, "Don't Google it." Anyway, how's
and that was Lady
Gaga. You know what pound puppies are?
House trick.
So,
Chris, why don't you tell us what's going on?
Oh yeah, is there?
Everybody's face is different.
Give us some trends.
There's a lot of fillers, I think, going on and fat injections. Like Ryan Gosling, handsome, but there's something. Or he's gained weight. I don't think he has gained weight, but there's a lot of.
He goes, "I gained a lot of my weight in my cheeks."
My face, exactly.
Yeah, I got a 6-pack, but up around these cheeks, I got a cheek belly.
And
if he's trying to be better looking, I give up.
So they're either filling or they're taking fat out. Like it's called buccal fat removal. Have you heard about that?
Wait, on the inside of your cheek?
They go into your mouth and remove. So that's you get hollow.
So you want
a lot of women are doing that. Well, men are doing it too. So you get that look.
I went from horrified to booking an appointment.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Do you think we can get like a double discount if we go in together?
Why don't we go in and try to literally look exactly like the same person?
They go, did I tell you? I told you, Dana, I went to the airport in Santa Rosa and I was where you did your special. And it was a great gig. And did I already tell you this? And when I walked through, the guy was like staring off into space, and I didn't take my shoes off. Does this remind you of a text? Everything okay?
Oh, no, I was just, hold on. I'm just going to.
Okay.
Yeah. No, David's fine. I'll tell him his mom called. All right. Okay.
That was my mom? That was my mom calling to say you've told this story. So I go through it, and the deputy dog guy's like this. He's not even looking at me, and he goes, all right, next. And it was the tiniest airport. He goes, take your shoes off. And I go, oh, I think I'm in TSA. I don't know. And he goes, well, are you over the age? And I go, am I what? And he goes, are you over the age of 75? And I said, are you out of your fucking mind? You didn't just say that and then everyone else said it. Because everyone else is nice to me. They get it. And this guy, I go, no, I'm not. And he goes, then you got to take them off. Are you fucking...
Take what off?
My shoes.
Just his shoes? I thought he was taking your underpants off.
No, he said, then take off that old mask. And I go, no, this is my face, but I'm not. He literally said, are you, not under, are you over 75?
Hey, I got carded.
Get fucked.
I got carded last week at Rite Aid buying a beer.
I can't believe I told that story because it's sickening. I guess we'll show a few.
It's funny.
Do you want to look? What are we going to look at? Some stories, headlines?
Yeah, we better get to something.
Yeah, we're fucking. We got a whole ass.
Brown, I'd call him 2 days ago.
Okay, we'll do a couple, then we'll do it because we already have a lot of shit.
Mm.
And I do mean shit. What is this? Oh, this is so dumb. I thought this was cute. It's a witch bee, Dana, and it carries sticks around. But it looks like they call it a witch. It looks like a broomstick. Isn't that cool?
Well,
he flies around. I'll take it, my pretty.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I'm kidding. It's just a stick. I just fly around.
My little pretty. And you little David Spade, too.
I have a lot of bee bits. Oh, the beekeeper. I have a lot of bee bits.
Jason straighter than the beekeeper. Just a quick one.
Oh, you a witch bee? First of all, he has a lot on his mind. You have to do the setup. We've got a lot of witch bees, but I'll be keeping them all. I don't discriminate. And it goes nowhere. All right, next.
Oh, I'm Jason Straitman. I do like that. I think
it's kind of cute, right?
It's cool. I don't know.
Fucking cute news. All right, no rush, as the fucking bit is bombing a miserable death.
Jeez, we're bombing in our own room. What are we doing out there?
What is this trend? Is this my
magic toothbrush? Okay.
Oh, girls! I saw this last night. I complimented someone on their freckles, and they go, "Oh, it's makeup." I didn't even know people are putting fake freckles on as makeup.
Well, they're tattooing freckles on their face too.
They're doing that.
Oh, like full tattoos where they stay?
Yeah.
Lord love a duck.
God,
I am over 75.
We could be doing so much more. You're 72. Don't worry about it.
I just don't know if freckles are that fucking great. I mean,
I like them, but not
like we go back to me and Taylor Swift. That's the only thing.
Do you have any freckles anywhere?
I have freckles. Yeah.
You have a lot of tattoos, Heather. How many roughly? 53. Okay. That was higher than I thought.
53 tattoos.
You heard her
will
right.
Not be revealed.
Okay, let me see. This one I thought was interesting.
What is this?
A girl, much obliged is the funny headline. She started by holding a cardboard sign that says, I need a husband. And of course, she's attractive, so guys would apply. Didn't work, but she got some money out of it. So now she just does stuff, fly me to Miami, buy me a purse. She hangs out in front of Tiffany's as an experiment. She says, hey, buy me a purse. Are you rich? And the guy immediately puffs up and goes, I do pretty good. Buy me a Chanel bag. And they fucking do. And so she's gotten videos of her. Guys just buy her hotel rooms, Chanel bag. I mean, this is sort of an underground hybrid hooker thing that's going on in LA anyway. And it's really rampant and it's not talked about. But we talk about the hard issues. Hooker? It's something. It's not really, but it's.
Why didn't she just go on OnlyFans and make $1 billion in her bedroom?
This is probably easier because she says she doesn't hook up with anyone. Okay, but I feel like she's just clowning dudes and they go along with it. So it's a victimless crime. It's just embarrassing across the board.
This is Larry Bubbles Brown, famous comedian.
He's going to call you and you're going to go over a red
Mickey? That he wrote.
Okay.
Yeah.
We go live.
Everybody's listening to. This is Larry Bubbles Brown, everybody. Yay.
Hey.
How are you?
Hello. Good.
So,
You're on the air.
Criminy, what is your question, sir? Oh, Criminy is from Dennis Miller, right?
Criminy, Carvey.
Yes. Every time I talk with you, we either wind up talking like Dennis Miller or John Wayne.
Christ's sakes. Okay, coming
Is that
in
John
on
Wayne?
the cell phone heavy. This is John Dennis. Well, we love John Wayne because he's never afraid, and we're so afraid of life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so he's the opposite of us.
Yeah, because there's a movie where he goes, "Take down the submarine, Pappy." "No, Duke, I can't take it down. We're all gonna die." "I said take her down."
I miss those kind of
No
guys.
fear.
No fear. All right, here's a few.
He sounds better on the phone than we do in the real podcast, by the way.
Thank you, Tim Cook.
Go ahead.
This is Red Redneckies, as written by, and also Chris, who our friend Chris Rios has one too. Red Rednecky, as written by Larry Bowles Brown. I'll do the best I can, Larry. I'll do them one at a time. "I'm Red Rednecky, the redneck comedian. My therapist said I was passive aggressive, so on the way out, I keyed a car. Come and get some."
On the way out. He laughs at it. He's like, not bad writing.
Here's a good one. "I'm Red Rednecky, the redneck comedian. Took up golf, shot 67. Did much better on the second hole. Come and get some."
Okay.
David liked the golf.
Red Rednecky is all over the place. He's playing golf.
Red Redneckies, I'm the redneck comedian. Mama gave me a book on ADD. Couldn't finish it. Come and get some.
I only got to the first D.
I had an addendum on that. This is Red Rednecky, the redneck comedian. Mama gave me a book on ADD. Only read one page. Couldn't stop thinking about crawdad stew. Come and get some.
Okay.
All right.
I like that punch up.
Much better.
"I'm Red Rednecky, the redneck comedian. Told Mama I was going to donate my car to charity. She said, 'Rednecky, where you going to sleep? Come and get some.'" It should be red.
Oh, he sleeps in the car.
It shouldn't be redneck.
I'm breaking down each joke and clarifying.
Okay, how about this one? "I'm Red Rednecky, the redneck comedian. Met a recluse woman on Tinder. She gave me hermit crabs. Come and get some."
Okay. Hermit crab.
That's a little.
No, it's a thinker, and you're not used to thinking during Red Rednecky.
Okay. Here's a non-thinker.
Okay.
"I'm Red Rednecky, the redneck comedian. Told Mama one day I'll have a trophy wife. She'll look like a moose. Come and get some." Because
Moose, yeah.
Okay. All right.
These are a little more. These are a little more thought out, so we're not ready exactly.
"I'm Red Rednecky, the redneck comedian. My last girlfriend was a treasure, so I buried her. Come and get some."
Okay. Good job. Are we still going?
Oh no! Now let's go. Here's Chris's joke. Chris Rios wrote a red. Anyone could write.
They're
one.
not reading them. You're reading.
Do you want to read it?
Okay, you read it, Dan.
Okay. "I'm Red Rednecky, the redneck comedian. I took my mama to the grocery store. She picked up 2 russet potatoes. It said, 'These remind me of your daddy's balls.' I said, 'They're that big?' She said, 'No, just that dirty. Come and get some.'"
And they cost 99 cents.
I know. Okay, well, that's funny. Chris is the best, yeah.
Good job, Bubbles. Good job, Bubs.
Do you have any joke that you're doing you want to do for us? You don't have to put you on the spot. Do one of your favorites. Do one of your best jokes.
One of my latest newer jokes is I had to close out my account at the sperm bank. It was getting 0 interest.
It was getting 0 interest.
0 interest. And then
Good delivery.
Your catch thing is, wow.
That's it. That's
After
funny.
every joke, he does that. And when Larry opens for you, the whole audience starts doing that.
Yeah, Felipe does it. I did that when I was going to 8th grade. I used to walk to school, and there's like this bird. And every time I'd walk by the tree, he'd just go meh, like that. He sounded like Edward G. Robinson. So I just started doing that forever now. I don't know why, but it seems to get laughs.
Oh, he gets laughs all right. I have to tell the sound man, cut the mic, get him off. Give him the light.
Yeah, if he kills, get rid of him.
If Bobby Lee's killing, you get him off. All right, Larry. Well, we're gonna go look at some impressions. So
we're closing out with impressions. We're already
Larry Bubbles Brown, everybody. All right,
good job.
Talk soon. Thanks,
easy,
buddy.
Greg. Easy,
okay.
easy.
Bye-bye.
Let him hang up the phone, and then the guy comes on.
Go.
Okay, this is the part we do impressions. We should ask for something next week. something else, but we'll do them for now. Okay, so let's see. Here's one. We don't know what the impression is, but we're gonna watch it and analyze.
We like impressions.
Superfly at odyssey.com.
Send in impressions at superfly at odyssey.com. AUD.
Okay.
What's up, Spadoodle? Dana. Here's a character. He's called Bitter Blind Guy. And he's mad at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Bitter Blind Guy's walking down the street, neighbors coming. Beautiful day, isn't it? How the fuck would I know?
And he folds up his
Try that
cane.
if y'all want. I'm actually blind, so that helps a little bit.
I like it
Helen
better.
Keller leaving a burning building. So there's a fire, alarm sirens going off. People are leaving, and Helen's just. Helen Keller leaving.
I thought he's blind. I thought he's gonna yell, "Guys, it
Wait a
smells like
minute.
a fire!"
Is he really blind?
Before you annihilate him, go ahead.
Whoa. I think.
I think so because he tried to disarm us by pretending he was blind. He goes, "But
I am really blind.
Yeah, I really
The
am."
way
too.
he folded that stick was pretty smooth too, so he must have done it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, so we love him. That's awesome.
I didn't get it. So he says, here's a blind guy walking by a fire. I thought the joke would be, it's clearly a fire. Then he smells and goes, that's smoke. You guys, there's a fire. But everyone knows because they see it.
He just put them blind that they would just walk into the fire. Was that the? They're just like
complex. This
I
is
like
our
the
news.
first one when he got mad.
I understood it.
Yeah.
Okay, what's
Mhm.
next? Even though we're going
Evan
long.
Galpert.
Hey guys, thank you so much for everything you've
Is this a
done.
hostage
I
thing?
love you both immensely. For
The
your entire careers and, thank you for the podcast. And join me for a little theater of the mind as we head to the 17th floor of 30 Rockefeller Plaza in the early 1990s on a Wednesday morning for a conversation with Adam Sandler and Norm MacDonald.
Okay.
Hey, Norm, Lauren said he wanted me to come up with something for update, and the table reads in like an hour, but I got one idea, all right? All right, buddy, yeah, show me what you got there. Okay, I think I'm going to come in as an old lady, and I'm going to be wearing a long wig and glasses, and I'm going to talk to the children like this, and then I'm going to start getting real crazy, and I'm going to lose my mind and tell all my children and the children and everybody. What do you think? I don't know what you think of that. Yeah, I see what you're doing there with the yelling and the wig and the old lady and stuff. I just don't think it's funny. Thank you. That's just a shtick. I know they loved each other. I know they were both hilarious.
Thank you for clarifying.
He
That's
was
just
good.
a shtick. Yeah, go ahead.
He was good. I mean,
It was fine. I mean, Norm is sort of an easier one because it's Canadian, but I do like his ending where he didn't like. That's kind of, I didn't see that coming, where he didn't like Adam's impression
right.
or his sketch.
Oh, I thought everyone does that
Right.
character.
He
that
kind of went
Sandler
high, which
does.
is good. Where he,
Yeah.
it's when he does those times, sometimes he goes high. That was a good ending. I think that's it, Dan. Any final thoughts? Are we okay?
19 minutes of extra work? That's not like us.
But thanks for watching. We won't make it any worse. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey Superfly. It's executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade. Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, Heather Santoro, and Greg Holtzman. Hope you liked it. Hey guys, this is David Spade and Dana Carvey, and before we get into Ben Stiller, we just wanted to share a few thoughts about the other night with the Will Smith Rock situation. Rock is obviously a buddy of ours. We had him on here a little bit ago, and we have a common denominator, which is being bullied growing up. I was a certified pipsqueak and always being pushed around, and it really hit a nerve with me and Dana. Also, and Rock had talked about it on this podcast. I could jokingly say that slap in the face was a real slap in the face for comedy. But it is true that on a serious note, this is a dangerous precedent. That was the straw that broke Will Smith's back. It couldn't have been a medium rough joke, just bad timing. It was like a Jack in the Box that you hear ding 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 ding, and here's Chris Rock. So that was just the one where he decided to flip, and not sure what Will's going through. I've met him, seems like a decent enough guy. I'd love to see him in a roast. I mean, listen, comedy is rough. I just did a comedy special for Netflix, and there's some stuff in there that makes me laugh. People could get offended by. It's just the way it is. I hope roasts aren't outlawed soon. I mean, my God. I don't know. I just thought it dimmed some light on the other performers that night. You didn't really think about any other performer, anybody that won. It was just that. And they allowed him on stage again. I probably wouldn't have. Not a lot of defense of Chris right there and then at the show. Like other people, or people are standing up and giving Will a standing ovation like nothing happened. I thought that was all very odd. And I honestly just don't think he should have been able to go get his award. I hate to say it, but there's got to be some consequence, because you shouldn't be allowed to do that. Dana?
Well, first of all, I've seen real anger and experienced it. So the first thing I thought was I was triggered, because everyone talks about triggers, when I saw a very large person go full shithouse physical on a person who's not small, but much smaller. And that just like, whoa, viscerally just hit me. So I saw a bully. I was just taken back to my childhood. And, when I entered high school, I was 5 feet tall, 93 pounds. I looked like a fetus with shoes. But my point is,
me too, dude.
I'm not a psychiatrist, but I played one on TV. But this was not about Chris Rock. It was not about the joke. Something else is going on, especially the second time Will said, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. The energy and rage and anger of that was so extreme. So I don't really know, but mental health is a thing that I would just say needs help. Secondarily, where was security? Could anyone else have gotten away with that? It was very awkward. And then to give him a standing ovation, he had 45 minutes to kind of pull it together. He had Denzel Washington talking to him, other really smart people, Bradley Cooper, but he couldn't pull it together to apologize. Instead, sort of doubled down. I protect women. So
the word protect was heavy in there.
Yeah, I'm protecting. And then the next morning, he got that ring, ring. Hi, this is your publicist, Brian, and maybe we should talk, because then there was the apology. So I just looked at it as a bully. It triggered me, and I think it was kind of horrific and just felt bad. Chris is our friend and our colleague, and I don't want to see anybody slap like that at any time, on television especially, or anywhere. David?
Yeah, it's funny, Dana, when you get older, like us, when we were bullied, and I know Rock was bullied as a kid, a little skinny kid, and he said it really stuck with him, and it does. It's the root of a lot of things. I get me mad. I have a short temper, and any bullying in a car cutting me off, or a guy, if I'm on a date, coming up to me and looking at me and going, okay, I could take this guy, and so I'll hit on this girl right in front of him. Those little forms of it are there all the time.
Yeah.
So when I saw that obvious just walk up, hit him, and walk away, and almost like laughing, like, fuck you, what are you going to do about it? It made me spin out like, oh my God. So it bothered me all night. I thought Chris was pretty cool about it, of course. But what do? Your mind's spinning. I'm on live TV, a billion people. What's happening? What do I go down? Do I hit him back? I couldn't even read the prompter after that. I'd probably be going, I got to get out of here. This is
Chris
too
handled
nuts.
it perfectly. And I give him a lot of credit for keeping it together after something like that,
I actually thought Will Smith would walk up if he was staying. And he's joking around, laughing, which was sort of more crazy in my head, or more, that's not a good word, but it was just more unusual. And then when he got his award, I would have said, what the fuck was I doing with Chris Rock? That was nuts. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought that for sure.
The jokes got to me. How stupid. I'm going to go back and tell him right now, thank you for this award. Whatever. Any acknowledgement would have just taken all the pressure out and gone, it was nuts. We'll still talk about it, but hey, something else is going on clearly, and I'm sure Chris is your friend. Like it was all tough to watch. So I don't have a ton to say about it other than what we just said. I mean, it'll all work out. Everyone will walk away, but definitely an odd moment in time.
You know, before that moment, of course, my relationship with Will Smith was just from afar as a very likable, positive person. So it's disturbing on so many levels. It gave everyone a relief from COVID and Ukraine, you know, so the whole culture has been rotated on this moment because it was so shocking. And I really just, I don't know. It's still going on because Chris hasn't spoken at this hour. Yeah.
I hope they make up. They seem to be, it seems they're friends, and like them to get back to that and have everyone live happily ever after. It's tough to live with that hanging over your head if you think someone's out there after you.
Hey, Lady Gaga, who's beautiful, but she's always working with really old people. Like, she gets next to Tony Bennett. She looks like a high school senior. Last night, they wheel out Liza Minnelli, poor sweet woman. And then Lady Gaga looks like she's in 8th grade. I don't know. I know.
Move. And Us Magazine immediately did who wore it better and who looked better. And that was unfair. Also, Dana, Regina, one of the hosts, beautiful, lovely woman. She did a bit that I have to say, as an observer, I'm for all forms of comedy, but if everyone else gets to complain, if it's a male host bringing the prettiest actresses up to analyze them and take them backstage
and grope them,
COVID test, then pat them down, it just wouldn't fly. I mean, I don't care. They're writing bits. Someone in the room should have gone, what if someone doesn't love this idea? But listen, fine. I just have to say it because I don't care. Just either let everyone do comedy in general, men, women, or just don't. But you can't say, you can't do this, you can do that. That's all. You agree?
Totally agree. It was really surprising. Maybe the Oscars are coming back now. If they have more fights, more politically incorrect things, and they go just ape shit, you know, maybe it'll become a huge winner again. I don't know. I mean, the only thing could have been bigger would be a melee. Chris fights back, and then you've got Nicole Kidman, who knows her way around the block. You've got Keith Urban coming up. Yeah. You've got Costner probably with a shotgun stopping the whole fight. Tyler Perry would have gotten in there. So
Joe Jonas is ripped. He would have come down. There's a lot of people that have been trained to do movies like that where they have training so they can come in and something. I mean, I don't know if Keanu was there. He needed to be. It must have been tough for Chris to sit in the back and realize literally nothing happened. No one walked up, no security, no stop the show, no. It was just like, on with the show, this is it.
Standing ovation for the
standing ovation. Yeah. You know, it's hard to pull for the bully. I don't know. Will Smith, probably a great guy. Just in that particular instance, it was the bad guy to me.
I've talked to people who grew up not bullied because they were bigger at a young age and so forth and so on. Or maybe their father didn't bully them. They're like, what?
Yeah,
what?
They don't get it.
They didn't get it. But that's what my takeaway was. But I wish everyone the best in the end of the day. So I'm not a negative Nancy.
No. We'll all land on our feet. All right, here's the show, squad. Dana, we've got Benjamin Stiller.
Ben Stiller. Yeah,
Ben Stiller, who's pretty much a superstar.
I would say, I would say if you add up everything he's done, by the time you get to the end, you can't even remember the whole amount. If you read his IMDb, you get exhausted. He's done it all.
You get exhausted. I mean, if you think of Night at the Museum, 1, 2, and 3, right there, that's over a couple of years to do 3 movies that are very long. Robin Williams is in it, all these great people in them. They all crushed, they all killed worldwide.
PG family movie, check. 3. You got to have an animated franchise. Madagascar, 1, 2, 3. How about doing a comedy with Robert De Niro? Meet the Parents, Meet the Weather, Meet the Fockers.
1 and 2.
1,
that's right.
2, 3. Zoolander, 1, 2. I'm going to call him the franchise kid.
I mean, my gosh. It's unbelievable. And he's a cool dude. I saw him last year. I don't see him a lot, but I saw him last year at Sundance, which is it's a dance place I go to. So we went out there and people were hounding him. The guy, I think he directs a lot now, but he's got a very interesting life. He did Saturday Night Live. He did it for how many shows?
5 shows.
5 shows,
Yeah.
and that's the riveting hook of why we get to talk to him, because we want to talk about that. And he's just a guy that's very cool, big star. Something About Mary was a monster. I mean, you don't even get to that one, and it's so big.
Dodgeball, all these big comedies.
Dodgeball, and he directs a lot. And he's got the new show Severance.
Which is cool, weird sci-fi. So yeah, all props to him. He's a very unassuming person and kind of shy. But we're going to tease him out on today's show.
Oh yeah, we'll flush him out of the brush.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Is it mano a mano? Is it a fight? No, it's a conversation. But things will happen. Things will happen. But yeah, looking forward to talking to our friend Ben.
I'm already thinking of how I'm going to interrupt you during the show when you're asking very good questions.
Well, yeah, when I'm running out of steam, I should have a signal like, just please bail me out on this. Please interrupt me. I am winding down and I have no, it's hard.
Anyway, so Ben Stiller, I hope you're going to have a good time with him. An old school SNLer that spun it out into his own sketch show and won an Emmy for it. But he'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. Revenge of whatever. Yeah, he won the Emmy, beat out his old gang 2 years after
From
they
SNL.
bounced him.
That's such a crazy story.
Yes, crazy story.
I think there's a movie there. It's like a comeback movie, Tale of Vengeance. It's a bit of a Rocky theme.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and he was a lightweight boxer. Yeah, he was. I think 82-7 as an amateur boxer, if I read that correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm super fly on the wall weight. Oh boy.
Yeah.
The jokes are getting worse.
Well, fly on the wall, fly on the wall. Gotta fly. Don't blah, blah.
All right, let's just get to Ben Stiller. These people are sick of us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we give you the one and only Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
I'm okay if I gotta be. Oh shit, there's that guy.
Yeah.
Mr. Stiller.
Yeah.
If someone said to me, this is what I was going to start with. If someone said to me, Ben Stiller is probably the biggest, most successful comedic influence of his generation, the last 20 years, my answer, I wouldn't punch them in the face. Like I wouldn't have an argument with them. I wouldn't get mad. I would go, huh.
It would make you go, okay. If they said Spade was, you'd go, no.
I was looking over your films and I was reading them out loud to my wife and she goes, man, he might be underrated. I mean, it's like, it's kind of crazy.
Underrated.
Or lucky. I'd say lucky.
Oh, yeah, mostly luck. Come on. Okay. I'm just going to get these out of the way real fast. Then we're going to get into Severance.
Right. Are these all the fucking monster movies?
I'm not going to go to existential questions. It's 2 Howards coming at you with coffee in them overlapping. So you jump. You can ask us questions too, Ben. We're excited because you're here.
There's certain impressions I'm going to request, and we'll get to that later.
The last 40 minutes is about us.
Believe me, Eddie Munster. By the way, I just talked to Mike Myers about Eddie Munster on Sprockets, the very first Sprockets.
That was the first one, right?
Yeah. Incredible. Yeah. Okay, just real quick, commence blushing. Okay, Night of the Museum, 3 great movies. Meet the Parents, got 3 out of that. Then you do something.
Got 3 out of that.
No, but those are brilliant. Something
definitely, in terms of ringing movies out of a concept, I'm definitely top of the heap. Yeah.
Night of the Museum, you had it was so many that you got to present history people. You got to like Joe Biden.
Then you do Tropic Thunder and Zoolander, Dodgeball, Starsky Hutch as broad characters. You do something about
just
Mary.
To kill time.
My observation for you, Ben, which maybe you've never thought of before, it's very difficult in modern comedy. What you did was play these broad characters and then have a character that could travel as Ben Stiller in movie. That's all I got. I'm tapped out. David, you go. That's all I have for the day.
I like that analysis.
We'd like a 40-minute answer.
I think it was basically, it was basically doing what was there, coming at me. And I never really, look, when I was at my short time at SNL, I was so overwhelmed by the level of sketch comedy acting prowess that was there. I never ever was, I never considered myself to be good at that. I did like I loved sketch comedy. I liked to do it and try to do it. But I think I never felt like, I always felt like, okay, I'm kind of like trying it and I can kind of do it sometimes and it's fun to do, but I never considered myself, that wasn't like my wheelhouse really, even though I like to do it.
Well, it would have been curious because if say it was a government order that Ben Stiller has to do 100 episodes of Saturday Night Live, because I felt altered after about 80 episodes. It took me to I faked it in the beginning, You only did like 5 shows, right? So who could get relaxed?
It was so intense and overwhelming. You were there.
It's crazy.
It's funny that it was because it is, and then you do movies, which there's makeup, there's directing, directing is no easy task. There's so many pressures of just being in the movies and TV. And it is true that one hits you in sort of a different way where you get in there and you're just like hit around going, what the fuck is happening? You don't see it coming, even though you think you do.
Yeah, because of the whole process of the week leading up to the show and what it takes to get to the show and what it takes to get a sketch on the show. And then to really understand how to gear yourself to, and you were both really good at it, to, for that 11:30 show. Because the thing that always sort of was like this kind of crazy mind fuck for me was when you do that dress rehearsal, and the dress rehearsal would be like, all right, we nailed it. And the dress rehearsal was like, yeah, but we actually haven't done it for real at all yet. Because nobody saw that.
Yeah.
And then it's worse on air and you go, God damn it.
Yeah.
You hate one dress goes too well. You always want, the idea was that the live show in the back of your head, if that voice is talking, it's saying, this is the best you've done it all week. This is, I'm actually doing, it's going the best. It doesn't always happen, but I remember the intensity when we did Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise, and just, you're in the slats and the music's playing, and then it is kind of like they just push you, and all acting or it's all about getting it out of your own head.
Surreal.
But
it's
I go,
so surreal.
and then you're giving yourself a report card. Like, am I okay? Am I doing it too much? Where's Ben? I mean, I get it. It's just, it's a ridiculous concept, really. It's a torture.
Or that, yeah. And I'm sure you guys talk about it on this podcast all the time. The like that feeling right before you go on, and right before you get, have to go out the door, or just like the surreal nature of like your whole life wanting to be a part of SNL, and then you get there and then you're doing it, and then it's like, it's just crazy.
So
I don't know.
The voice in your head goes, I'm on SNL and I'm doing it. We had Julia Sweeney on, and she came in one show early and just watched the show. But she was so adept at doing sketch comedy, she said she wasn't nervous. She looked at it and said, oh, I can do that. But then she got nervous later. But initially it was like, la-di-da, just say your lines.
But did you guys get nervous doing it?
Oh, sick. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't, when I was there, I did the same thing as Julie did. I went there a week early and watched, and I had the other reaction of, I cannot do this. Like I was a stand-up. Now she's coming from an improv group. So she's used to quick changes. She's used to blah, 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 everything, jumping around in characters. And I'm watching it going, are you out of your mind and how fast it moves? And during the commercials, that's really all the time you have? I didn't really get that part. Like if it's 30 seconds, it's 30 seconds. Or they go to a fake graphic in the front. That's just to buy you some time. And then when I was doing my first update piece, I'm on the side, and it's such a little studio when I got there that I go, so when I walk 3 feet, 10 million people see me. And then I come back, and it's just some stagehand chewing gum going, good job.
Good job.
And then they move the camera and look at the other guy, and I go, is that it? Like, did anyone see it? That went out there?
Yeah, it actually happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have my phone. I'm not on a cell phone back then. So then hopefully somebody saw it somewhere and they tell you, but you just go the rest of the night and everyone's doing their thing.
My first sketch, I never did sketch comedy. I just did stand-up. My first sketch was a cold opening with Jan Hooks and Phil Hartman. And when I landed a laugh, my head wanted to turn toward the audience like a stand-up. But I go, oh, keep looking at Phil. He's the host of the game show. So, but I could show you church chats early on where she's going like this. Her hand goes up and it's wet with sweat,
Sure.
But you were so good, but that's crazy that you never did sketch comedy at all before the show. I never knew that.
I was doing it as a stand-up, but didn't really know it. I didn't have any jokes. I've written maybe 2 jokes in my life. I was doing one-man sketch, but there was no theater group in SF at the time. Anyway, but
I do think that with you guys both coming from stand-up, that did at least prepare you in a way, because it's the live experience of going up in front of an audience, and I had some of that, but I didn't come out of stand-up, and there's the natural sort of thing of being in front of an audience. I'd done some theater, but that I always gravitated towards having more takes and doing it, what you do in a movie where you could just you could do it a number of times. That was really what I felt more comfortable doing, which is why I went running away after a few weeks.
And won the Emmy for Best Television Sketch Show 2 years later.
Well, yeah. So but I mean, I was like looking at that environment going, oh man, this is really hard. I don't know if I will do well. And even when I, think back on the few things that I did there, I was so nervous. Even, Sprockets, that was his first Sprockets. And Mike was just so that was such a great sketch. That character, it was all so well formed. He was a great sketch writer right out of the box. And he was just so, he understood, I was doing whatever character I was doing. Eddie Munster wasn't even a character. It was just a guy in an Eddie Munster outfit.
Well, it was a very funny take on it. Yeah, the outfit was hysterical.
But, Dieter was such a perfect kind of SNL type character. Sure. He just understood the structure of it and everything instinctively.
Yeah, well, I get that. I mean, Mike did a lot of sketch comedy before he got SNL. That would be helpful, but still.
But Ben, did you do? Was it A Color of Money? Why would you do that? You did a video, and what did you do that for? Is that what they saw? Is that what Lauren saw? I liked it.
Yeah. I was doing a play off Broadway. And I saved up the money I'd made in the play to do this takeoff on The Color of Money with a couple of friends of mine. And we made this short, and I didn't know what to do with it, because I basically had made a short, but there was nowhere. Sure. It was pre everything, there was no
Funny
YouTube.
or Die, no nothing.
There was nothing. So it was sort of I had this 16mm short that I made.
Useless.
And that was transferred to 3/4 inch tape. So I had this 3/4 inch tape I was taking around, and John Lovitz had come to the show that I was doing, the play called The House of Blue Leaves, and he had come backstage, and I reached out to him. I didn't even know him really. And I said, hey, I got this short. I'd love to try to get it to, somebody to see for the show. And he took it up to Lauren. He literally took the tape up to Lauren.
Oh, it's a VHS.
The romance of that.
Yeah.
When I hear about somebody, let's put on a show and financing, making a short film, and then having it go somewhere. Because imagine all the young people now putting stuff on YouTube. But the fact, and I did watch some of it this morning. It was absolutely hysterical. They make up on you.
It was all it was all my friends and my parents and my grandfather. It was the whole cast of it was just people doing favors.
And the Tom Cruise impression and character was so potent and bizarre, and your look was so amazing. I mean, what it was? You must have laughed your ass off.
Youth. It was called Youth.
Well, Tom,
I mean, I was just hysterical. Doing it because we kind of had the idea for the movie. It was Steve Klayman, Ralph Howard, my 2 friends, and we had this idea, and it was who's going to do Cruise? Because we knew we had the idea, but and Steve actually did a Cruise too, and I was oh well, maybe I should do Cruise, and then we had a cruise off, a little.
We should do the best part.
Well, what was your not to interrupt Ben, but what was your into Cruise? Usually it's one hook. You did it in the restaurant.
It was one thing. It was just sort of.
His
laugh, the high pitch.
But I see him in that. Yeah.
Smiles and looks around.
But all you need is one thing, and that was it.
You take the one thing and then you transmogrify
until
it
no one knows what I'm doing.
So fascinated by that. Which I'd love to understand what your method is, because you talk about it sometimes.
I'm trying right now with Biden. I'm still trying to find.
Yeah, hooks. But your Biden is great. Where are you at with your Biden right now?
Well, I don't know. Well, the latest hook was that he yelled in the beginning. It was come on, here's the deal. My dad lost his job. No joke. Not kidding around here. That was, it was not a joke, and he said no joke. And then he makes lists. Number 1, the one part. Number 2, what the guy said. Number 3, you know the drill. Come on. It isn't rocket science, folks. And then once in a while,
saying nothing.
He gets mad. I know how to do this. I can talk loud. Look at me go.
He's finally had it.
Do it.
Right.
And then he whispers.
Yeah, you just.
No, but.
Yeah, no, please.
No, the whispers are really funny. The whispers when he comes down, you go, "What's going? Who's he talking to? Is there someone in the right by the podium?"
It takes a while to do someone, and also for the audience to get used to that person. You know, just little hooks later on. I know more about Biden's voice now than I did 6 months ago. But anyway,
I think it's your comedic hooks into the characters. To me, are always like what you choose to focus on is what makes it so funny, because it's like something nobody else would think, and then you're like, oh my god, yes, that's exactly what he does.
That's the hard part. And when when you do it, Dana, and then someone like George Bush, like back in the day when there's only 4 channels on SNL that, you know, all the presidents are aware, and then they almost do what you're doing because that's what they're supposed to be doing. It's such a weird thing that happens.
I wanted to learn Michael Caine because of, was it Steve Coogan? Yeah, those guys traveling around Europe in their car and doing impressions.
Oh yeah, the trip. Yeah,
and they were so good at Michael Caine. That was me consciously wanting to learn Michael Caine just for myself. Not to put on TV or anything.
But then how do you do it knowing that that exists? Do you just go to Michael Caine and go, I'm going to come up with my own take on it?
Yeah, I realized.
And what is it?
I used to do it like this, and then I realized the whole hook is the nasal. You could talk like that, but if you go totally nasal, you got him there. And the hook that I do is I do Michael Caine in kindergarten. So it's Michael Caine at 5 years of age. And the line is, I like to eat paste. I don't know why. I like to eat things in the classroom. I chew on a hula hoop. And I ate a cheddar ball. A hula hoop. So that's right. But as far as Saturday Night Live having that focus, like it's going to be on TV Saturday, you know, I'm terribly lazy about these things. So, you know.
Anyway, you understood how to do that. And it's a specific art form that, you know, I think some people are built for and some people aren't.
But what's the difference? Like, so you go in there and you do, I guess it was, you said 5 shows, maybe Dana said that. But then you go ultimately, not revenge, but you still are interested in it. You go back and do your own show, and then it works. You got to feel a little good. Like, see, it just wasn't my situation. That wasn't perfect for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I made the decision in the moment. And I think it was after I made that decision, in retrospect, a lot of people, you know, including people in my life, are like, wow, you quit Saturday Night Live, you know, and which was like, oh yeah, geez. But I did have a specific thing that I was going to, which was this MTV show, which was Jeff Kahn and I were working on this thing called, they had this thing called It's Your Hour, where you could kind of do your own thing. And it was really because of the shorts. And that time I wanted to be doing short films, and I wanted to do what Albert Brooks had done on the show. That was sort of my dream. And you know, he'd go and make these little short films and then show them on the show. And that wasn't happening back at that point. And so I had an opportunity to do that. And really, I think instinctually, I just felt like, oh, I'll be more comfortable doing this, and I'll be able to, you know, be better.
What's funny, Ben, is that to go like, you go to MTV and they go, why should we do a show with you about sketches? You go, well, my resume shows you I just quit a sketch show. And they go, oh, so we should do one with you? And you go, yeah.
I was at the Emmys.
That's all you need to know.
Saturday Night Live was having a good year. It was the political campaign, everything. And the winner is, for Best Comedy Show, The Ben Stiller Show. And I remember you and Bob Odenkirk and your gang going up there, and just how shocked you were. Can you describe that feeling of like...
Oh, it was surreal. I mean, yeah, we'd been canceled for 9 months already. I think we'd been off the air for that long. And
you were canceled, that's right.
Yeah, we weren't even on the air.
Oh, that's even more of a shocker.
It was crazy. And, you know, I think there was a fair amount of bitterness towards Fox that we all felt, because we felt, you know, we thought like, oh, our show is, you know, we were good and give us a chance, but we really didn't play our cards right with the network. It was a fledgling Fox network, you know, at that time. They weren't even on fully, you know, they were on like maybe like 12 hours a week or something. And we were up against 60 Minutes. So we had awful ratings, and, you know, and also we were a weird show. I don't think anybody should have really watched us necessarily, but we felt very slighted.
I loved it.
But, the head of the network, I think we did something. I know there was a moment when there was some sort of presentation. I think it might have been the TCA things, which is like the Television Critics Association. And you go up and you talk to everybody. And Bob and I and Janine were up there and we made some joke about the head of the network's hair. I think Bob did, looking like an old-timey Leatherhead football helmet, like that. That movie Leatherhead?
Yeah. That was so
yeah, we made a joke about the head of the network's hair looking like that, and that might have been the nail in the coffin for us. And after that, we didn't expect that, to win. I didn't expect to win. I heard Bob talking about it recently and saying that he actually thought we might have had a chance. But he was such a great sketch writer.
Yeah,
he was amazing as a sketch writer.
So funny, Dana. It's so funny.
Yeah,
he was.
And he really, I think it was a lot of his writing was on the episode that won it, for us. So it was great. It was, and then I said some stupid thing about like Fox, you missed something here. You're still like waving my image.
I was sitting next to Lauren when your name was announced or the show, and Lauren just went, "Oh,
that guy."
He didn't respond. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those nights.
Yeah,
Marcy. Anyway.
I was listening to you guys break down the Lauren impressions on one of your recent episodes, which I can never, always entertaining to listen to different interpretations, different Lauren. I guess Rob Lowe does a good one.
Oh yeah, I do a copy of anyone's copy. I'm like a CC of a CC. It comes
exactly.
down.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'll try to do. That's all I can do.
Just noises.
How does Lauren feel about it? You think? I mean, at this point,
I think he is. I think he's Lauren. He's aware of it all.
Yeah.
Right. He doesn't dig into it. I think he understands how it's meant because everybody always is doing it with a sense of like Lauren is this singular entity that has created this
It's like
thing.
he's a celebrity now, and it's like a celebrity impression in a weird way.
And he also knows, anytime he does a sketch on the show, he always knows how to do himself.
Yeah. He comes
You know
out.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he always can be
He
Lauren.
would have a glass of Chardonnay. At least the first season, he'd walk around the floor during the live show. I guess just to try to calm us down, But he was an intimidating figure. But then after you're not on the show, he's like your greatest friend. He's like so positive and everything is positive. I mean, you went back and hosted twice. I was just going to ask you to the nerve part. How, Did you get past that by being a host on 2 shows? And you've done a lot of cameos as well recently, Michael Cohen.
Yeah.
Has it gotten a little better just because you're Ben Stiller now? And there's nothing to lose. No. You're like already on show business.
Honestly, not at all. Every time I feel that thing in the pit of my stomach,
Sickening.
especially when we were doing the last round, when we were doing the Michael Cohen ones, because there were changes that were happening. And this must have happened to you all the time. The few times I was out there, I don't remember when I was on the show, the last minute changes, like literally like a minute, 30 seconds before, still playing around, like things like that.
And they're putting them on the cue cards while you're standing there, and they're like, "This will be a little different." And you're like,
and you realize that you're just on your own. Like it's like whatever, like you just have to do it. Nobody else is going to do it. You have to keep it in your head. So, it's fun when you can come on, I think, in an unannounced moment, right? When you show up in somebody, when somebody else is hosting and it's like all of a sudden, like you walk out. And I remember doing that once with De Niro, and that was probably the most fun because I didn't really have to do anything. There was no pressure. And it was like, oh, people are excited to see you because they didn't know you were going to be there.
Right.
Yeah. Big applause. Is good.
And then you don't have to do much. But I think the hosting, I think is really, there's nothing like that feeling when you go out right before you have to go out. And again, but that's the same feeling I always had, so I don't think it'll ever go away.
It's chilling going through that door. Ben Stiller!
Yeah.
And just the roar of like expectations really high.
Yeah. And then it's like, then the show. All right.
I like when the host, Dana, when the host has to go, ladies and gentlemen, Red Hot Chili Peppers. They've dragged you all the way out there and they put you in a different outfit for that. I'm like, how about I just wear what I'm wearing? And
you've never heard of them, well, ladies and gentlemen, Bent Nerve.
It's always like Hot House Flowers.
It is interesting to watch when you go through the old shows, like what the bands were and like which ones are actually ones you remember.
Yeah, because they try to catch them right on the precipice of blowing up. and some of them blow down. they never quite catch. And you're like,
and now it's a game I play with myself watching the show now to see which bands I actually know better on the show. Because I'd say like 80% of the time I don't know the bands.
Do not.
That's how out of it.
I think it's a typo. I go, there's no way that's a band on the show. I have never heard of them.
When you listen to music, Ben, like now, today, what do you listen to? Do you listen to it in your car? Because that's where I listen to music.
Yes, I listen to music in my car. I live in the city, and I also live north of the city in New York, so I kind of go back and forth. And I like listening to music, but I'm so like, as I get older, like I'm start going like 80s, 70s.
Yeah, XM radio.
90s. I go to the 90s, and then
fade out.
Like, I become the old guy who's like, what is this? What are they playing? What is this stuff? That's not music. This auto tune, all of it. I mean, I like hip hop, I guess, but from like, even like the hip hop taste is much older, but I could listen to, like Elton John all day. I'm that guy.
Right. I got lost somewhere around the Spin Doctors after that. I think I'm pre-Spin Doctors. But
isn't that interesting though? Because it really does sort of like settle in like what you really like to listen to. And like
you just don't know it after a while. You just stop knowing anything. They go,
you stop wanting to know it too.
Yeah. I go,
right?
I don't even try.
I mean, isn't it a little
seek it out.
Like I was thinking about it, like if I'm listening to Elton John from 1973 right now, that's 50 years ago or whatever, right?
Pretty much.
Or almost.
Yeah.
Right. So that's like if my dad in 1973 was listening to 1920, some hit song from 1923 all the time.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I've had,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. The one thing that happened to me was the stereos back then sucked. So I have a Volvo. It's not a rich man's car per se, but it's and the stereo in it is so insane that maybe 3 months ago I put on, Tiny Dancer. Okay. So I blast it. It's 1,500 watts. I'm surrounded titanium speakers. It's like I'd never heard the song before. But then I go to the hip hop channels with my sons, and they introduce me to Cardi B, and I'm like, wow, I've never felt so old. WAP. Anyway,
this one's about poontang,
and that'd be G-rated.
They're not all open to it. I'm open to it, but then if I'm really being honest with myself, usually I don't get into new stuff.
So Ben, here's the question. How did you get so good at what you do, you think? Like you're a little kid, you like I want two things. I want one are the television shows. I know Star Trek. We got to interview William Shatner on this podcast, which was a thrill.
Oh, really?
A crazy, lucid, brilliant, analyzed everything, asked us questions. He was like a shrink. He's a scientist.
Amazing.
He described what a mirage is. We talked about UFOs. So I know that, and I was wondering what other films or TV shows that just blew your 10-year-old Ben's mind, and then you grow up to equal or surpass your heroes as a film director. I don't know, kind of surreal.
It's not, for me, I loved movies ever since I was a kid and was just making Super 8 movies as a kid and watching movies and television, in the 70s when it was, stuff was on TV or you actually went to the movies and go see Planet of the Apes or go see, Towering Inferno or Side Adventure. I'd saw Side Adventure 20 times.
Oh, Shelley Winters.
I was obsessed with it.
Gene Hackman. The Way Out is up there. He had a turtleneck on. He was just... It's out there.
Oh, it's incredible. Life is out there.
It's 1 inch thick, less thick than 2 inches. Remember that? He said they had to go up there and they go, it's an inch of steel. They go,
up there is life. Down here is death.
And
That's
at one
good,
point he
Gene Hackman.
gives, do that again.
Up there is life. Down here is death. I don't know. That's all I
Gene
got.
Hackman. Shit.
And then he gives Shelley Winters a big wet kiss. Oh, I love you, Mrs. Rabinowitz, or whatever.
Come here. And she swam under the water. She was the championship swimmer. And
God damn.
And then
that
she
was
died.
a great movie.
But that tidal wave, that's a great shot, right, Ben?
Yes.
The tidal wave.
Binoculars?
The tidal wave.
It's incredible.
That's great direction. Is that Irwin?
Yeah, and Roddy McDowell is the waiter who helps them. And they had to turn the Christmas. They had to take the Christmas tree and climb up.
Smart.
I was just obsessed. It was everything was upside down. Fascinating. So I could have watched that all day.
Okay.
I remember once my parents were going to see. They had tickets to see Lily Tomlin performing live on Broadway. She was doing one of her amazing one-woman shows. And they said, come on, we're going to go see Lily Tomlin. I was like, no, Poseidon Adventure's on for like the 12th time. I'm going to stay home and watch it.
Do you remember There's Got to Be a Morning After? That's the
Carol
song.
Lindley
Unreal song, perfect for that.
God.
And it made
her
you cry.
Her brother dies. Her brother, the bass player, dies in the,
There's got to be a morning after. This is my Carol Lindley? I don't remember
closer
that.
Carol Lindley.
Was that it? Did I remember that?
Yes, that's her.
Oh, dementia
she was
postponed.
amazing.
The only time it looked fake is when they look through the binoculars and they see the huge tidal wave, and then when it hits, they had a crew guy throw a cup of water, a Dixie cup of water, into the captain's face. He goes, "Oh."
No, but remember when the ballroom went upside down and everyone's hanging from the...
Are you shitting me? It was unreal. I was scared as a kid. I was riveted. I wasn't scared enough like I was during scary movies. It was sort of accidentally scaring me, but I was riveted to it. Like, what if this happened? What would I do?
My sister and I snuck out when we were in LA with my parents, because we grew up in New York, but my parents would come out to LA to work and do like the Love Boat and things like that. Yeah. And we would stay at the Sunset Marquis Hotel with them. And like my sister and I snuck out once to see The Exorcist at the Man's Chinese or Grauman's Chinese Theater. And it scared the shit out of us. We just were so freaked out by it. But we didn't tell my parents that we'd gone to see it. So they couldn't understand why we were so...
Why you were crying every day all day?
Sleep, yeah.
Oh my God.
Go ahead. I want to hear your exorcist experience.
First of all,
we
I
all
never
have
saw
one.
it. I still can't see it. My brother told me about it and I was so fucking scared that I would talk before I went to bed to make sure my voice wasn't like the way he said the voice was in the movie, because I was scared I'd be possessed. And then I shouldn't tell Dana, you don't have to listen to this, but I'll tell Ben because he's a better friend.
All right, I'll mute.
But Ben, I saw the movie Tommy at this huge theater in Arizona, the Cine Capri, when I was whatever age I was when it came out. It scared me that I got like a stomach ache and I had to leave when the acid queen, there was burning and it threw something to burn the guy's face and right at the beginning. And I go, what the fuck? That movie is not for kids. I thought it'd be a fun movie.
Tina Turner, right?
Yeah, it was a psycho movie. I saw it
Ken
later.
Russell. He was like he did Altered States too. Remember that movie with William Hurt?
Oh
where
yeah,
he's taking hallucinations
and Bob going, I'm on fucking fire. Remember when this?
Yeah, and his feet turn into ape feet in the shower, and it's just like he's having these crazy hallucinations. He was a really interesting filmmaker. Yeah, so I mean, those movies were so good when we were that age that I was so into them that, just I wanted to do that and make movies. And so that's, I was always doing that. And that's honestly like part of the reason why I didn't stay at SNL and all that is because I wanted to keep exploring that and doing that. But I was also kind of like trying to be an actor too. And I think, I just have always loved that more. And probably like the last, 6 or 7 years, I haven't really acted in anything for a while. And it's been mainly directing. And I stopped acting and in the things I was directing, which I've really enjoyed a lot more, because I do feel like that gives you the opportunity to really focus on what you're doing. And it's hard when you're kind of, in front of the camera too.
Doing both, like just how hard it is to do either, and then you got to do both.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, it's kind of cool that your latest thing you've done is being received, so it's brilliant, and I'm obsessed by it. My sons in their 20s are. The way it's shot, I don't know, the set design, the colors, the lights, the action, it's so
music,
so atmospheric, and it gives you this wash of feeling. It really takes you out. I mean, when you watch how'd that come
what's interesting?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it was written, it was a script that came to our production company about 5 years ago by a writer as a writing sample, Dan Erickson, this guy who had not had anything produced. And I read and I was like, oh, this reminds me of like The Office. It reminds me of Office Space. It reminds me of like Parallax View. It reminds me of,
Stepford Wives, Truman Show.
Yeah, yes. And it had all these different things going on in it. I was trying to think of that other movie. Oh, what was it? The Andromeda Strain.
Yes.
Remember that
or
one?
THX 1138.
THX 1138. Yeah.
The Andromeda Strain.
So I just thought it was like an interesting thing he was doing with the tone, which he was taking the office workplace comedy and then sort of like adding this other surreal layer to it, which is like, who are these people? What are they doing? Why are they doing it? But yet they're bantering like they work in an office, but they don't even know who they are. That's like a really interesting concept. So anyway, I just, it took a while to set it up. I knew Adam Scott was the guy to play it because I felt like Adam has sort of like mastered that tone.
Yeah, could we talk about him for 10 seconds? Adam Scott is, now I saw him on Big Little Lies. You've seen him around for years, and then I've seen him on this. I go, holy shit, he's never made a false move. as an actor.
He's amazing, and he has this like really interesting quality because like sometimes he'll look like Tom Cruise. He'll have this like thing, and then other times he'll be like sort of like this kind of regular like guy, like kind of very self-effacing, and then he'll be kind of like flat and nothing going on. But then all of a sudden you look in his eyes and there's some really deep thing happening. And he's also like just as an actor. He just is so specific, and I call him an acting machine, and I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah, whatever you want,
what I mean?
You can do it.
Wait, you too, David. I feel like you're an acting machine.
Yes,
also.
Thank you.
And he has this ability to like just change things by a millimeter, but and still do what he did. But then like as a director, it's great to work with him. So the whole thing was really interesting to me, and trying to do something that I guess was an experiment. And then I thought, well, it's fun to be able to experiment with something. We did it all during the pandemic. It's been literally like 2.5 years working on it.
Wow.
Yeah. So we started before the pandemic, and then we were about to start shooting, and then the pandemic happened and we had to shut down. So it's been a long process, and we were in this, very oppressive, claustrophobic set for like 9 months shooting it. So it got a little bit, like it was the show kind of like folded in on itself.
And you got John Turturro and Christopher Walken. I mean, those are also just
Well, it's weird because Turturro, I was talking to him about doing the part, and he suggested Chris Walken. He said, because we hadn't cast the role of his coworker, Bert, who, Chris plays. And John said, well, have you cast it? I'm like, no, I'm thinking about somebody. So he goes, what about Chris? And I'm like, yeah, that would be great, John. Okay, I'll reach out to you because I could call him. And he literally made it happen. He's like, Chris, wanted to do something.
Everyone loves Christopher Walken.
I know.
That's a great guy to have in anything.
He's got this amazing voice, amazing face, and you can't not look at him on a screen.
Yeah. I mean, and he's aware, he's such a sweet person. I actually worked with him in that first play that I ever did. The thing I did when I did Hustler of Money, the Takeoff on Color of Money. Yeah. He was in that production, and he worked with my dad a lot.
He's very sweet and sensitive. Guy, I remember this is a non sequitur, standing next to Bonnie Raitt at a party, and it was Eric Roberts and Christopher Walken, and this is in the 90s, and Bonnie Raitt said, I feel like I'm having sex just looking at him. I don't know.
I wonder if he thinks if he is aware of all these impressions, and if it throws him off acting because, that's the way he sounds. And now he's like, do I sound like a cartoon of myself?
Yeah, I think he's aware that people, he knows that people will adjust scripts when he's in it, because he's in it, I think he's aware of it. But he honestly, I think, is not a guy who, he doesn't really, he's not, I don't want to like say too much because it protect his privacy, but like, he's not a guy who engages in social media and does it, you know what I mean? Like he really just lives his life. And he's a very genuine person. Like I think he loves acting. He's been acting since he was a small child. I mean, literally like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah. I have a question for you. But this one is not Christopher Walken related, but it's still a good question.
Can't wait.
When in Severance, in the first episode, I picture we all get scripts. So you're reading it. I'm like, I wonder where it won Ben over. Because I think you only read the one, right? You only read the first episode.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
So I'm watching. It starts a little bleak. It's got some interesting, creepy music. I mean, I don't really know what I'm watching yet, And I'm watching. I'm like, this looks so different. And so I'm just getting hooked in on the fact, I don't know what's happening, that's kind of fun. But I'm picturing it on the page because you sort of, bring it more to life. And then in those last couple minutes, I go, oh shit. And that's probably where I go, I bet Ben was like, oh, fuck, this is great. Because it makes me go, I got to watch the next one now.
Right. Which I think is like the bottom line with TV shows. And I learned that on the last one I worked on, which is like you just want to get people to want to watch the next episode. You want to have a story that unfolds. But, when I read it, it didn't have all that. There was no music attached to it.
Right.
I was just like reading it. And it tonally, I think I might have taken it a slightly different place that I didn't even know it was going to go, because I really responded to that workplace comedy thing that was in there, you know, the banter that was happening, you know, when like just sort of like the back and forth between Adam and Zach Cherry in the beginning when they're at their workstations. That seems so familiar to me and funny and like, oh, I've heard that. But then, like I said, it was that other layer to it. But I think the ending too, I just thought as a pilot, I thought, oh, well, this crazy little thing that happens at the end with one of the characters where you don't expect it. That really pulled me in. And but I don't know, you know, I don't know if you're like this, but like when there's something you read as that just you have a gut feeling about where you just go, okay, this is something that I really connect with. I don't even know why I connect with it, but it's just, you know, it's just pulling on something that like it's resounding with something inside of me, which sometimes you don't have to explain too.
Also, it's unique. It's a unique read. So I'm sure you see, like I get similar comedies a lot, and you and Dana. And so if you see something out of that world, it's already a little easier to keep your attention because you're not reading this every day.
And is it kind of unintentionally zeitgeisty, you know, about work from home and the Great Reset and people rethinking their lives? Because it rang true that sometimes people are in a corporate situation. They're not quite sure what they're doing, which is kind of funny in Severance. No one really knows what they're doing. You know,
that's the funny.
That's one of the things I loved about it is they have no idea what they're doing. They know what they're supposed to do. They don't know why they're doing it or what purpose it serves, and they know they're not really supposed to question that. Also, you know, But you know, this was all before everything that was happening.
The big reset.
I mean, he wrote the script like 6 years ago or something, so it was kind of ahead of it all.
It's I don't know. It feels like people are definitely rethinking that kind of corporate structure, and you know, just you know, it seems like everyone in the world is really rich now because it's never been in our face as much. Notwithstanding Ukraine right now, but just the idea of people monetizing fame or Instagram or what is it, David? Fans only. So it's
only fans, Dana. And I'll give you my login code.
Only fans. Sorry, I had the words right, but it seems like a harder sell to get people in a cubicle for 50 years, you know, with all this other input coming at them. But anyway,
they're also being told. Kids are being told, like I see on these places where they're like, "Why are you working for other people when you can make millions on your own?" It's like, I don't know if that's the best message. I mean, it's a good message, but everyone chasing their dreams at once might collapse everything, you know. It's very hard to say keep one foot in reality but always try to strive to do something better in life, but it's hard because right now they're like, quit your job.
I also think that's changed in the way you know, in show business too, and like what we talk about back when there was no YouTube or anything or Instagram to post funny stuff. You know, I made my little short and was like taking it around. Now it's almost incumbent on an actor or a comedic performer to put their stuff out there and to make stuff so that you have to do that really to get noticed. And then the other aspect of that is there's so much of it out there now. It's almost the opposite, where now, like, how do you get noticed within that sea of content, quote unquote? Yeah. And I think it has changed the way people sort of approach, like, what are you supposed to, what do you call success? And, you know, are you supposed to be successful by 19 or 20? And, you know, if you're putting your stuff out there.
It feels younger. And it feels younger when you're Kylie Jenner and you're like 19 and you have $1 billion. Everyone goes, wait, it's so much stress for kids. Like, I'm so far behind. I've got FOMO from Instagram. Everyone's prettier than me. Everyone's, you know, it used to be, there's 2 girls at my school are pretty. And now I'm like, I'm competing against the world if you're a woman. You know, it's like, I see every guy's life. Everyone's rich, it seems. Everyone's having a better time than me. It's funny that during the lockdown, it almost let you relax for a second if you're a kid to go, at least everyone's in the same spot for a second. Like, they're not on a yacht, they're not skiing, they're not, and I don't feel, because I think people feel badly over and over quietly about all that stuff, and it makes them nuts.
I feel that way.
Even you feel that way.
Yeah.
Because I looked up.
I mean, what?
Your celebrity net worth. No, I'm kidding. No. But,
I know. Dana's about to make fun of me. I can tell.
I definitely feel that way. I got off Instagram because of that. Yeah. Like, I'm still on Twitter, but like I couldn't. I was feeling all those feelings way too much, and I was like, I'm too old to be getting into this. Right. Like, it's not healthy. I should be really concentrating and spending my time, you know, on much more positive in, things. And, so I just made that choice for myself. The thing is, when you do take yourself out of that, right now, everybody sort of communicates that way though, too. Yeah. Even there are good parts of it, being able to stay in touch with family and, and stay in touch with people that you don't see all the time. But I just decided that for me, that was too much. And I think, I don't see the good thing. I feel like Twitter also, I have conflicted feelings about Twitter too, because I like being able to get immediate news and information and things that are going on in the world. But then I'm also, again, way too aware, I think, sometimes of things that I shouldn't really be spending my time on,
Did you turn down any big commercials like in the 90s or the knots? Or did you do some? I mean, now that's totally changed and people talk about their brand and getting their product in the marketplace, which is great by me. But did you turn down commercials? I did a few naively.
I didn't. I've never gotten offered a lot of commercials, weirdly, but I did a Japanese beer commercial in the 90s.
A sigh or
nice.
I'm trying to even remember that. It was a crazy thing. I had to go umasugi dayo, and I was like on this like frozen wave or something.
That's it. And you got paid money.
I got paid money for that, and then not a lot of offers after that. Maybe that affected it, but I did. Yeah, I got offered one a couple of years ago. One of those Super Bowl ads, and somebody else did it, and I saw it, and I just felt like it didn't feel right for me.
Someone else did it? I had that happen in a Super Bowl ad, and then someone else did it. I'll tell Dana later.
I'll do anything at this point. But I remember Paul Newman, and I don't know if he gave it to charity, but Paul Newman is like the greatest kind of celebrity in history, I think. I think he was riding a tricycle or something, like it was a motorcycle or something, but Paul Newman, and I think Meryl Streep did one, and then they didn't like it, and she got millions and they didn't even show it. But I do think the Super Bowl is unique. Everyone kind of goes, hey, it's a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah. I mean, also now it's become such a thing where the commercials are such a huge deal, and, everybody watches. I watch them, and see like, okay, what's, who's going to do
Did they ever ask you to direct one?
I directed some commercials back in the day. I have been offered commercials to direct. I'm not great at directing commercials because I don't love that process. At the end of the day, it's a little bit like I have to care about this somehow.
It's like, move the Doritos closer to the Chihuahua, please.
Hold it up while you're talking, and you have to angle it.
The Chihuahua's chewing the bag.
It's an art form. I enjoy a funny commercial, but you have to really care about that stuff.
So, Ben, how are you as a celebrity? Like your emotional temperature, I just made that up.
How are you, Ben?
Is like kind of unassuming superstar. Obviously, you're not out there all the time. I mean, when was the first time you were like Mickey Rooney in The Twilight Zone, like, I'm too famous. I'm too famous.
What blew you up? What was the one that blew you up where you were like, oh shit, now it's getting...
there's a point where you hit critical mass. I don't know what year where it's like, you're really famous.
Yeah.
And that's
where my glasses broke and I couldn't read any of the books.
Oh, Burgess Meredith. Picture, if you will, a young Ben Stiller with fame that he never wanted. No, go ahead.
I think it was a kind of a gradual, thing for me because I was around for a while from like my little stint in like late 80s to, then getting little parts in movies in the 90s.
Something About Mary was
the one that really was the first time I was ever in.
Yeah, that was huge. And Meet the Parents and then Zoolander. That was pretty quickly, boom. Go ahead.
Brett Favre.
Yep. Yeah. And that was like 1998 or something. And I had been doing it for, on and off for 10 years and had, had directed Reality Bites and directed Cable Guy at that point. And so I was working in show business and happy. I was really happy. And then that movie, was a big hit. And I remember people going like, oh, I knew, like someone I knew who worked in my team was saying, I knew it was always going to happen for you. I was like, I thought it had happened. I thought I was doing okay.
It was great. What are you talking about?
I really did.
Comeback. And you're like, I've heard people say comeback. I go, comeback.
How did you wear a hat and stuff when you went out or sunglasses?
Yeah.
When you first got, David would love it to be in a convertible, hi, everybody. He had go
Hello.
I mean, I was definitely going around LA. I had a period of time when I acted ridiculous, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like I bought a Jaguar.
Sweet. Do it.
That lasted for like
change.
2 years.
No, I got it.
Tab.
A low key ride in LA.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely like, fun, but a little bit sort of intoxicating in that, it's that thing where like everybody, is recognizing, everybody's being nice to you. And there's just a lot of opportunity in all ways. And it's like, weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
When there was a jizz scene, you might not remember in Something About Mary.
No, I forgot. Which one was that?
Was there a discussion of the amount of jizz? Is it too offensive? Is it too far?
Yeah, there was.
Because I don't think people have seen too much jizz on screen.
The Farrelly brothers.
Or
right?
since.
Yeah. I had a discussion with Peter and Bobby Farrelly about that scene because, I took my work seriously. And I was questioning a lot in that movie where I would like question all of like the logic moments in that movie with them. And then I realized halfway through the movie that, shooting the movie that I just was wrong most of the time because they were, because they're just going to do what they did. And they were so right because they knew exactly what they were doing. But I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure this makes sense to me. So my question was, how am I not feeling the jizz on my earlobe? Right? Why am I not feeling this?
I have
right?
some
How can I
nerve endings.
How do you play that?
I literally said, can we somehow set up in the movie at some point in the past, I lost feeling in my earlobe.
Oh boy.
And what did they say?
And they're like, Ben, don't worry about it. It's funny. It's funny. Just go with it. It's funny.
Fuck, yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck. I'm like, really? I think it's not going to be as funny if you think you're wondering why I don't feel it on my earlobe. So I lost that argument, and thankfully.
Yeah.
And
I guess you're smart to say, when I'm in someone else's thing, I've done that where you go, this is their thing. I'm kind of along for the ride. I did sign up and I can put in my 2 cents, but overall they're going to win in editing. So I got to, at some point, just got to roll with it.
Yes. And you have to recognize that, and I think it took me, I remember we were there in Miami. It was so much fun shooting that movie too, because it was just like everybody was having a great time. And they cut together like the first 10 minutes of the movie. And Peter pulled me into his trailer and said, hey, check this out. I want to show you. And I saw the first 10 minutes and I was like, oh, this is like, it's so much fun. And it had such like, and I think I was like, I'm like kind of more of like a serious type of person or, and they were just like happy, fun. I'm like, okay, this is like a happy, fun thing, which I have to get used to and, embrace. It's probably good for me. But I remember also after the movie, we shot the movie, weirdly, I keep saying weirdly, don't I?
It's a good word.
A couple of times.
You have a big life.
I said, no, but I was living in the same apartment building as Cameron Diaz in LA in Larchmont.
That is
time.
weirdly.
Yeah. And I was coming downstairs and she was going out with Matt Dillon at the time. And, so we'd all done the movie together. The movie hadn't come out and he'd just seen a screening of the movie. And Matt was like, hey, man, did you see the movie? It's funny, man. It's funny. And he's like, dude, you jerked off in that movie. And
that's a good Matt Dillon.
Yeah, that is good.
And I was like, yeah, I know, I did it. I definitely did it. And he was like, he was saying it as a compliment, I think, but he was kind of like, you really did that. And at that time, we didn't know how the movie was going to do. So it felt a little bit out
scary.
there. Like, okay,
your balls are in a zipper, dude. It's great.
It was like The Hangover in a movie that came out and just kind of changed everything for a while. But I'd like to talk before we go, whenever we go, about Tropic Thunder, because that hit me like a ton of bricks. And I've probably seen that 3 times. I mean, I just absolutely, I think,
Ben thought you were going to say 30.
You went full R word. You went full R word. That's why you went home empty-handed. It's like for comedy writing at the time. I know that you couldn't do it today, I suppose, but God, that was brilliant, that movie. How did you fucking come up with that?
But I think in today's, environment now, of course, it just would never even get out of it would never get out of development. But that was an idea that I had since I had a little part in Empire of the Sun in 1987. I was playing one of the POWs in that movie,
which was hilarious.
Thank you. I tried to give it a little.
And Robert Downey Jr. was in blackface in that film too. I remember.
But I thought, at that time in like mid 80s, all the actors my age were auditioning for every war movie. It was all war movie. It was all Hamburger Hill, Platoon. And we all had to go, and everybody was going on these fake boot camps where they go out with Dale Dye and, spend 2 weeks in the Philippines and get, dirty and get yelled at. And
well, could David, just for an insert, David, could you do your Michael J. Fox war thing? And then go back to
I can't do it. Hey, Sarge, you got to give me a minute on this. Hey, she's just a farm girl, Sarge. Come on, Mallory. Hey.
What would, no, I have to ask you, what would Burt Lancaster be like in Tropic Thunder?
I'm telling you, we got to get to that river. I got to cover I'm not afraid of nobody. I did a movie with Burt Lancaster.
That's one of my favorite of your impressions is the Kirk Douglas Burt Lancaster interchange.
That thing.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Would you like to come over to my house? I'd like to come over. 5 o'clock. I'm on Cannon Drive. There's a code 5432.
That's the gate code?
No, we're gonna. Yes. We're gonna wrestle, right? We're gonna wrestle. We're gonna wrestle Greek Roman style. Because I like to wrestle. I do too. Two men having fun. Doesn't mean a thing. I made it a little more PG.
Yeah, no, that's good.
As you know.
Did you ever see The Swimmer, by the way, with Burt Lancaster?
Oh, yeah.
What a weird, crazy movie where he just swims in people's pools.
He just jumps fences.
He just literally, he's in this like tighty-whitey, Speedo thing the whole time. He looks good, but it's like he's swimming in people's pools for 2 hours to get home and kind of going crazy. It's fascinating.
Dana's like, I love that movie so much I saw it once.
I saw Tropic Thunder. I'm going to up it to 5.
Change it.
I'm going to up it to 5 times.
Right, thank you.
Now, Ben, before you go, one last one. We're not talking enough about the Reality Bites.
Yeah,
when Spade was in it.
Come on.
Dana, do you know this? Spade had a little part for one day.
You were in Reality Bites?
I was Habitude Wiener Dude.
Wiener Dude. Come on.
Ben plucked me out of obscurity, out of a rigorous casting, and I went in there. I don't know if I was on SNL or was I on it?
I feel like I'm trying to even remember how that happened.
I don't remember the year.
Yeah.
But Ben, the funniest part about this is first of all, I'm not great at acting, so I'm trying to memorize the script. I thought before I do the scene, I should know it because I do that with a lot of my parts. So I look at it and I go, I'm interviewing Winona for a job at the Wiener Hut or whatever it's called. And so I'm the manager. And then, so I have, the joke is like, I go, whatever it is, I interview her and then I go, I'm going to throw out some numbers. Remember I tell her she's going to be a cashier. So I go, what's 85 plus 22? And she's like, $1.20. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
She's like, $1.40. I'm like, nope. She goes, $1.80. I go, it's not an auction. Right? And so I go, but listen. So anyway, I do this, and then Ben hits me with this fucking curveball. I picture we're sitting at a little interview table, like in the back of Burger King, and then I just go back and forth. And then he goes, "Okay, let's go now. Spade scene's up. Here you go. You're gonna walk this way. You're gonna hand the customer this. You grab a bag. You put this mop over here." I go, "What the fuck? I have to walk and talk and say the lines?" And you go, "Yeah." And I go, "Holy shit!" And inside my head, I'm like, "Whoop, whoop, whoop." This was never discussed. It's never happened in acting before. And so I go, "Why is he doing this to me?" And then Winona, all she has to do is trail behind me. That's way easier. And so I'm literally going in rehearsal going, if I hand him this, then I say this. That's how you remember it. Right. You go by blocking. So I go, pa, 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 pa. Somehow we got it. But I tell you, I was scared shitless. There was a lot
of business. You had a lot of business. And I think, I believe I did it as a oneer. I think it's like a one-shot
which
deal.
Is worse because you have to get everything right.
Yeah.
It's like you're traveling, you're following with a Steadicam or something.
Yes.
And you have to get it all right. And I'm like, But obviously that's the way to do it. Obviously it made it funnier. And then
and it was
and
fun.
Then I still love it. I love hearing people saw Reality Bites.
And I love that you're in it too. It always makes me happy.
I'm going to have to order that up on Amazon tonight and check out David's
And the last thing I got to tell Ben is when I did this last movie, they go, Sandler sent me this movie and he goes, you're not like, it's the wrong Missy. He goes, it's not the typical thing you do, blah, blah. But then I read it and I go, oh, this is like what a Ben Stiller would do because I always like what you do in these movies where there's this craziness around you. Like, Meet the Parents. You're not always doing that, but you're very good at it. And I go, I want to do one where it's sort of a grounded guy that's overwhelmed. And so everything was happening around me. Swartzen was funny. Schneider was funny. Lauren Lapkus, who was great, is the Missy character. And I was sort of trying to keep it together, but it's a hard thing to do, and you do it very well. And I was like going, if I can just kind of do that part, because it's an underrated thing to do in movies.
Yeah.
And it really keeps everything working if you have good reactions and do it. And then that movie was super fun, wound up being, but I just wish they could tell you ahead of time if the movie's going to be a hit. It would be so much easier to shoot. Like Something About Mary, you'd have so much more fun if you go, this is a fucking hit movie.
You never know.
Here we go.
That's the old adage. You just, you really have no idea. But I think like when you're doing that, like that kind of thing, the great thing is I always felt like there's no pressure on me except to just to be in the scene and hopefully react honestly. But like, you have to not have the ego about like feeling like I always wanted more funny people around me because I just felt like that would make the movie funnier.
It helps everything.
And I would
if
be
you
helped
understand
by being around funny people would make me funnier.
How
You're
happy?
in a hit.
How
It's
happy
working.
were you when you sat down to either rehearse or shoot the first scene on Meet the Parents, and you saw that De Niro was playing it full badass De Niro, which made it so funny the way he intimidated your character. It was just such a perfect comic chemistry.
He was amazing. And also, I think, he at that point, he hadn't done a bunch of comedies. He'd maybe done Analyze. I don't know if Analyze This was before or after that. I think. But he, and he was one of the producers of the movie too, but he totally got it from the beginning and, was just playing that. He knew that playing it straight. And also he knew with me that, he could just sense with me that I was nervous around him. And so he would, you know what I mean? Like he wouldn't make it.
So he worked off that.
Yeah, he enjoyed doing that. And, it was really like, that was a real thing. Like I just remember like we'd be in the car together doing these scenes. And then like, back then we were doing scenes where you actually were in the car. It wasn't like a green screen. And we'd have to then take the car around to start the scene again. And then we'd have to just sit together in the car in between when we did the scene and when we restarted. So there'd be like 5 minutes of us just sitting uncomfortably, which
staring.
Literally just, you could have just kept the camera rolling. It was the same as the movie. It just was the movie.
What did he say? I have nipples. Do you want to milk me? Or so it's just like coming out of De Niro's mouth.
You want to milk my nipples?
You want to milk my nipple?
Yeah, great.
That's good.
All right, well, let's let Ben go. He's been great.
You guys,
Ben was
I
very
love you
nice.
guys.
Thank
You're
you, buddy.
So funny. You're the funniest people.
Great
Enjoy
to catch
listening
up
to
with you, Ben.
Yeah. I'm glad you're doing this.
For kids who want to
Check
live
out
stream Ben
Severance.
Stiller, for young people, Dodgeball, Starsky and Hutch, Madagascar, Something About
my
Mary.
God.
More than I could mention.
Jesus.
It's a resume. I got exhausted reading your Wikipedia
What's
page.
Severance on? Is Severance Apple TV?
Severance is Apple TV Plus. It's
All
Apple
right.
TV Plus. That's the part you have to pay for. Yeah. And it's
that's all right.
It streams every Friday. So
All right.
Got it.
Pleasure,
Thanks,
Ben.
guys.
Thanks.
great talking
All right,
to you.
Appreciate
thanks,
it.
Ben.
All right.
Thank you.
Talk
See you,
soon.
pal.
All right.
Hey, what's up, flies? What's up, fleas? What's up, people that listen? We want to hear from you and your dumb questions.
Questions, ask us anything. Anything you want.
You can email us at flyonthewall@cadence13.com. We have one from Andy Lipsy.
All right.
Andy Lipsy says, hi, guys. What was the first concert you ever saw live, and who do you want to see that you haven't been able to? I'll start with this. I saw Heart. 16, I saw Heart, the band. They fucking rocked it. And my brother snuck in some slow gin. You ever know what that is? It's so gross. It's like
Boone's Farm.
It's like a muddy
cherry wine.
It's like a red, I don't know what it is, but it had booze in it. I didn't care. I couldn't be picky. Chugged, barfed. And I did like Heart, and I still love them. And then did a joke about them on SNL and got in trouble. And then I would love to see Led Zeppelin live. Dana?
Led Zeppelin is the greatest. When I was 14, I was running cross country freshman in high school this summer. I ran a 6-mile time trial at 5:20 a mile. So I was feeling really good. I have 3 older brothers. So I was 14, 16, 18, and 20. They took me to Fillmore West.
Ooh.
10 years after Cactus and Toe Fat. So I'm there. Girls are bikini dancing. There's a show. Bill Graham actually came out and said, stay away from the brown acid. He actually did.
That's the old
and they
joke.
were passing joints along. I didn't have any, but all that experience was unforgettable. Then went outside, and this dude, kind of like a wino, was really high, and he looked up at the marquee. He was really buzzed, and he goes, 10 years after, Cactus and Toe Fat. What the fuck?
That's what I said when you
Toe
just said
Fat was the name of a rock band.
Toe Fat.
My brother, in 1966, he came home from Fillmore West. He was like in 8th grade. He says, I've just seen the best guitar player in the world. I said, what's his name? He woke me up. I was in like 6th grade.
Jewel.
He goes, Jimi Hendrix?
For real?
It was Hendrix. It was Hendrix. I said, yeah, weird name. Probably won't go anywhere. He goes, why do you say that? Just a thought. But then we saw Jeff Beck a lot, me and my friends. With Jeff Beck, I saw Fleetwood Mac.
Jesus.
A lot of Neil Young.
Mm-hmm. And who would you see now if you could pick?
Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
Because my sons played that for me, and that was the first time I really appreciated hip hop. Snoop. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Thank you, Andy.
When it's feeling kind of hot. Drop it like it's hot. You a bad boy, David Spade. Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13.
Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes.
Executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment. Production and engineering led by Greg Holtzman, Richard Cook, Serena Regan, and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.